Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Africa Esports Series educational program. Today is a new day and a new webinar. Today we have a great guest, Boris Bergerot. Boris is a founder of STAKRN Group, and he also co-founded French Esports Business Cluster, which is called L'Agence Esport. Boris is doing lots of great projects, which he will tell you about today. And also, among other things, he's consulting the French Ministry of Sports and Esports. So to be frank, I don't know many people in esports who know and do so many things as Boris. In terms of education, in terms of programs related to education and in development of the ecosystem. So Boris, bienvenue, welcome to our program today. So floor is yours, and yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Ignat, for the presentation. Hello, everyone. Very happy to be there. As Ignat said, I'm the co-founder of STAKRN Group, an esports business company based in the south of France, in the city of Montpellier. So I'm very happy to be there because I'm involved in different areas of esports and education, as I'm a teacher in different business high school, universities, and I love to share my experience and the different projects we are working on. So the goal of the webinar is to try to understand, to have an esports overview about the different events around the world. And of course, I'd be very happy to read your question. You can write your question in YouTube, and we can discuss chat at the end of the presentation. So thanks for your attention. I will just explain what will be the kind of a small roadmap of this webinar. First of all, we will speak about the offline and online events and the differences, and also what happened with the COVID. So we will see a kind of a COVID effect and a strong move from the offline to the online, and specifically the growth of the streaming platforms. Then we will speak about the tiers of esports video game, because you have a kind of ranking of esports video games. So we'll try to understand what are the different criteria to speak about the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, etc. So then a small overview of main business events, because when we speak about events in esports, of course, you can practice esports, you can have some big show entertainment around the world, offline and online, but you also have some nice and interesting business events to develop, to democratize esports around the world, and to involve different stakeholders in the ecosystem, like sports ecosystem, like non-government bodies and authorities and different sectors that could be interesting by esports. So the main business events are very interesting to understand and to attend, also to meet people in different areas and to generate some synergies. We speak shortly about the main esports events by continent. The goal is to see what happens in different areas of the world, and we see that you have different practices, specifically in Asia, where the esports mobile is growing fast. And I will finish the presentation with a small focus on the cash prize, because you know that in esports you have the opportunity to earn some money at the professional side, and then to earn some cash prize. And I will try to give you an overview of what happens in the 2019 specifically, because as you know, the last year many events have been cancelled. So yes, esports is at the crossroads of video games, entertainment, technology, and sport. That's why it's very interesting to understand the ecosystem. I will present you the ecosystem. But first of all, I'd like to explain a little bit who I am, what are the services we are providing at STAKRN. So my company is called STAKRN Group. We have different activities in esports. The first one is that we have an esports agency called STAKRN Agency, and the goal of STAKRN Agency is to explain to non-dynamic brands, sports clubs, investors, and all the different stakeholders interested by the topic of esports to explain then how it works, what are the best potential strategies to set up, and how we can create something smart, relevant, and interesting about jumping into the esports scene. So it's a consulting agency to support some cities, governments, actors of the traditional sports, and many brands. We also represent some of the best esports pro gamers and sports athletes. So the goal for us is to help them to be more professional, to help them in different topics like legal aspect, like mental coaching, for example, about the influence marketing side. Maybe sometimes about the communication with the community management of their social network. So we have a small but very specific service focused on esports and athletes representation. We have a strong expertise in sim racing. So the sim racing, as you know, probably is the competitive side of the video game, focus on motorsport most of the time, the simulation of motorsports. Maybe you know some video games like Forza Motorsports, like iRacing, like Gran Turismo, Air Factor, Project Cars. So we have some of the best champion in Europe and in the world in these video games. And the last service we provide in Esports Agency is that we organize some esports business events. So we support some cities, government to create some specific events to provide some conferences, some keynotes, some workshop, and with the goal to generate some matchmaking between the different attendees. So this is quickly what we are doing at STAKRN Agency. Our esports agency focus on consulting, talent, and business events. We also have another subsidiary called STAKRN Innovation. STAKRN Innovation is focused on the esports and entertainment venues, and the goal is to support the property developers and the cities and investors to create some very smart and innovative venue. So we help them to understand the key factors. We help them to understand how works the ecosystem. We source some specific promoters in virtual reality, about education, about co-working spaces, co-living, and different topics. And the goal is to create a smart ecosystem, a profitable ecosystem, sustainable with different business and non-business activities. So we have some school, we have some incubator of startups and many things. So we are working in different cities and countries. With, for example, in France, in the city of Toulouse, a project called Icon Arena, a project of 60,000 square meters with an esports arena, with restaurants, with schools, with a virtual reality center, with a gaming house, and many other topics. But we also work in Switzerland, in China, in the US, and in different countries. So this is the second subsidiary called STAKRN Innovation, focus on innovative project and how we can create some specific venues to develop the esports ecosystem and to organize some events, some show match, and different activities inside the building. And we will start in a couple of weeks a new service called STAKRN Invest. And the goal for us is to support the entrepreneurs to fundraise when they are working in the esports and entertainment sector. So we will jump in, yes, probably in March in this new service, focus on doing some matchmaking between the startups in esports and the potential investors. That could be business angel, VC, or bank, and different organization interested to invest in some specific sector like esports and entertainment. So this is the ecosystem we created with some consulting, with innovation side, and with financial side. Let me speak some few minutes about the esports market and the ecosystem. So maybe you know well what is the traditional sports ecosystem with the clubs, with the players, with the federation, with the media right, etc. So about esports, you have different key factors to understand about how works the ecosystem. First of all, I will speak about the publishers. I'm sure you know Riot Games, Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, Activision, Blizzard, etc. So the publishers develop the video game, they broadcast, they organize some events, and they want to boost, of course, the visibility of their video games. It could be on PC, on console like PS5, Xbox, Switch. It could be on a smartphone, of course, and these stakeholders, the publishers, they organize also some events in different countries, and they are in touch, of course, with the professional teams. I'm sure you know some international teams like Cloud9, like TSM, like Vitality in France, for example, and they are playing at the international level, and they go most of the time in some specific venue, in some arenas, for example, to attend to some championship. But of course, you have the opportunity to see them practice on streaming, specifically on Twitch, for example, and they also practice some championship online because all the tournaments are not necessarily offline. Of course, we have many of them that are broadcasted online on some streaming platform. So you have the teams, the professional teams, you have the publishers, as I said. You also have the different events. We will speak about different events we see in different continents. You have some leagues, you can have some open or some closed league. It depends on the culture of the country and of course what decided the publishers, because all the publishers decide if the league could happen, and of course they sometimes create their own esports league. That's the case, for example, for Riot Games with the maybe you know the different League of Legends championships we have. So we have some continental championship. I just want to speak also about the business model of esports, because the main difference with traditional sports is that the IP, so the intellectual property of the video games are from the side of the publishers. So they decide most of the time about the events, about the cash prize, about the rules of the tournament, and the money in esports is most of the time coming from the sponsors, the brands, non-endemic or endemic brands that could be that could sponsor some events, some teams, but you also have some other streaming channel revenues like the media right, like the ticketing, like the merchandising, but the revenues are coming between 40 to 60% of the business are coming from the sponsors. So it's very important for the sponsors to have a strong visibility, to develop the brand awareness of their company during some events, offline or online. And it's interesting to understand the growth of esports we have in different areas, and the opportunity for the brands to create some specific content on streaming, to create some marketing activation in some offline events in different locations. So the brands and the sponsors are probably the specific key factor in the development of esports, because they target, of course, a new audience of what we call the millennials, and the audience is growing fast online. Most of the young people are interested by jumping into an arena, for example, and to attend to a specific events like the final of the League of Legends Championship, so the Worlds, or different local also tournaments. So if we have an increase of the audience, the viewership online, of course it will interest more and more the sponsors, and we have probably in the coming years more and more companies that will be involved as a sponsor in the esports ecosystem. So the pillars of esports are the publishers, the teams with the pro gamers, the different events to organize and to showcase the esports side of the competitive side of the video game. And we have sometimes some leagues that could be local, national, for students sometimes, for corporates, for the pro gamers, for example, and inside all this ecosystem, the brands and the audience are very important to understand. I will also speak that about the different events organized around the world. The technologies are very important because of the fan engagement that we could see with the virtual reality, with the augmented reality, and we will probably speak about that a little bit later, but it's important to see that the development of the esports event around the world will be probably very interesting with support of some specific technologies that could create some experience for the audience, for the attendees. It could be online or it could be offline, but the goal is to interact more and more between the spectators, between the viewership and the teams and the publishers, and to create something very entertainment centric. So let's speak now about the offline and online tournaments. I just choose some specific graphics coming from Esports Charts, the website that shows some interesting statistics about the games, about the tournaments, and I'm focused on the year 2019 because we can't really say that the last year it was very big and popular esports year about physical events. So if we see the graph, you see that the different tournaments that have been organized around the world. You have first of all the League of Legends World Championship with a very big peak viewers close to 4 millions. Then you have the Fortnite World Cup and the finals. You also have the Free Fire World Series in Rio, so in Brazil. We have, maybe you know what is the international. So the international is the tournament from the publisher called Valve, and you have a very big cash prize. The video game is called Dota 2, so it's a MOBA, and it's a video game that has a very good hype in Asia, in North America. So the international is the biggest esports tournament about the cash prize, about the global, what we say, the prize money or the prize pool, with something like 33 or 34 millions of dollars for the global finals. And the last of the graph is as well another event from Riot Games, the mid-season invitational, with a peak of viewers of 1,700,000 people. So what we see in the development of esports is that the viewership is growing fast because or I could say thanks to the streaming platform. So you have most of the time many platforms, maybe you know Twitch, but you also have many platforms and in Asia, on different countries, in Brazil. So I will show you quickly after an overview of the different events. So about the most popular esports tournament based on peak viewers, it's about around 2 and 4 million people at the same times watching an esports tournament in live. But we also have another view that we could explore, is about the average of the viewers during all the events. So we also find the Free Fire World Series in Rio, and the Free Fire World Cup, and the first place and the last place, and Fortnite and League of Legends and Dota 2. So we have what we say some big video game title, like Fortnite, like League of Legends, like Dota 2, for example. So many people are jumping into the streaming platform to see, of course, the show, because you have the show, you have the casters. The broadcasting is very professional, with some different fun experiences, with sometimes with virtual reality, augmented reality, hologram, and many things. So more and more people are watching live some events that are organized physically in a specific place. About the tournament, sorry, ranking, if we compare with the hours watched, we have a big jump about LOL, the World Championship, because of course we have the replays, we have many people that are coming to watch the event just for some few minutes, and then some more people are looking during the event. But imagine that, for example, for the World Championship of League of Legends, you have 137 million people our watch just during the event. So it's a very good exposure, and about marketing, it's something very interesting for the sponsors. So as I said previously about the esports ecosystem, it's interesting to understand how the different events, the tournaments, the championships, the league could bring into relief the sponsors, the partners, because all the audience will show the different matches on streaming, or maybe physically in the esports venues, in esports arena or something like that. So it's more people are watching esports. Probably it will involve some sponsors coming from different countries. And if a country is very focused on esports mobile, for example, that's the case of China, of the Vietnam, South Korea, and many other countries. It's interesting to imagine what could be the sponsor focus on such device played by the gamers, and to create some experiences. So the most popular tournament based on hours watch show that you have some hundred, sometimes of millions hours watch, and it could provide a big and interesting exposure. And of course, it's interesting for everyone to show the replay, and to just pick some interesting part of the tournament. Let me speak about the prize pool, because we said that when you have some professional esports tournament, you also have prize money. So a way for the publishers to attract the best esports team to their tournament. So what is interesting, specifically in 2019, is that all the major esports event, esports tournaments have been broadcasted also online. So it's a good way to target many people, not only in the venue, not only in an esports arena, but also to have a strong visibility in social networks, in streaming platforms, about the replay you can have in different streaming platforms. So that's probably why sometimes you have some big cash prize, and Fortnite offered $64 million during the season. So it's not, of course, just during one event. You have during the weekend what we call the skirmish event. So you have some tournament online, you have some physical tournament, you have some cash prize during some national events. And the goal of Fortnite is, of course, to develop the ecosystem and the people, the players that are interested by the video game. And of course, the prize pool is something interesting for the best of the best. That's of course why the esports, the professional team are fighting every day, are practicing, are very involved in their game, because they have the opportunity to earn some very interesting cash prize during some events around the world. About the international, so the international, as I said, is the big event of Valve about Dota 2. So it was in 2019 $46 million just not necessarily during one event, but it's the cash prize spread for all the different tournaments. But just one tournament, like the international, is something like 34 or 45 millions of dollars. So if you see the ranking, you find again the best of the titles played in esports. You have Fortnite, Dota 2, CS:GO, PUBG, Overwatch, League of Legends, Magic, Call of Duty, Arena of Valor, and Rainbow Six Siege from the publisher called maybe you know Ubisoft. So you have some FPS game, you have some battle royale game, you have some mobile game, you have some mobile game like Arena of Valor, for example. It's the only, I think, mobile video game in the ranking. So about the cash prize, it's not the only goal, of course, of the professional esports side, but it's a very interesting topic to understand, and what explains the boom of esports teams, and why you have most of the time some new team coming in the scene with some investors, with some celebrities, injecting some money because they also want to have a piece of the cake, and to understand and to, of course, try to earn the different cash prize. So if we imagine that all offline tournaments are also broadcasted online, it allows a very strong exposure, of course, for the publisher, for its video game, like Fortnite, Dota 2, I don't know, but it also offer a very good exposure for the different sponsors, the sponsors of the event, the sponsors of the team, the sponsors of the publisher. Of course, it's very interesting about the leagues, about the teams and the players, and this structure, this organization with offline events and online events because they are live broadcasted, but also you have standalone online tournaments. That is a good mix to support the viewership and to show how the esports scene is moving fast. I'd like to just to make a small overview of some different platforms that have been used about streaming. As you know, Twitch has been acquired by Amazon in 2016 for something like close to $1 billion. So Twitch in the occidental part of the globe is the main streaming platform used by the players, by the event organizers to broadcast their event, by the streamers, the influencers. But you have, of course, some events broadcasted on YouTube, on sometimes on Facebook, on VContact for the CIS region, so for the Commonwealth of Independent States like Ukraine, Russia, and many other countries. You have Africa TV for the South Korea, etc., etc. So you have the big streaming platform, but you have in different countries some specific platform that are used. For example, you have in Japan OpenRec.tv. It is a well-known streaming platform for the Japan market. So if you aggregate all the data, if you have a big events broadcasted in different countries with different streaming platforms. You have the big opportunity to develop the audience and to democratize esports and to attract some new generation, some new people, to convert some new gamer and to attract them maybe to one day to try to be a pro gamer. And you have also many sponsors that could be interesting to have an exposure in different countries thanks to the broadcasting online. Of course, the list is not an exhaustive list of the streaming platforms. You have dozens of platforms in Europe, in North America, specific in Brazil, some others in China, like Panda TV, Douyu, Youku, and different other platforms in China, and also, of course, in India. So most of the time, you can use a streaming platform to follow some specific tournaments. You can also, of course, follow your favorite players that are practicing, for example, online during the evening. And it's a good way also to learn about how to play, because on the streaming platform, you not have only esports tournaments. You, of course, have many people that are practicing with some friends, and they give them some tips. They explain what is the best meta of the game. They explain what are the best way to perform in a video game. So it's very interesting to see what happened in the past years on the streaming and the online use of esports, thanks to the influencers, the streamers, the casters, and of course the event organizers that broadcast broadcasting all the tournaments. So about the COVID effect, for sure, the last year most of the offline events have been postponed, canceled, reported to another date, or it wasn't possible to attend to a physical event, because if we see the case of France, for example, in France we have I think I would say something like between 60 or 70 esports event, offline event that have been cancelled or postponed. And what we saw is that that we moved to the online because of the necessity for the event organizers to continue their job, and the necessity for the teams to play, because they have to pay salaries of the pro gamers, because they have some sponsors, so they need to create some contents, of course, and of course to try to earn some money and to have the best cash prize, even if it was online. So we saw a viewership explosion on streaming, because many people during the different lockdowns around the world, they had the time to follow some teams they like. They have the time to practice and to learn how to play this or this video game. So we had an explosion on the streaming platform about the viewership, and it was also a good way to bring into relief what we say the content creators, like the influencers, the casters, the streamers, and we saw an emergence of some new entertainment side of esports, not necessarily the competitive side, but also the entertainment. So sometimes we heard the word esportainment. So I'm not very interesting about the wording, but is that esports, of course, is the competitive way to challenge, to fight between different players or different teams. But you have around a big ecosystem with the audience, the viewership, with the casters, the influencers, the content creators, and that's probably what happened with the COVID effect, is to boost, to level up the entertainment side of esports, and to provide some tournaments just 100% online, because it wasn't possible to attend to physical events in many countries. So most of the time they were played on Twitch, and the publishers organize remotely all the tournaments. So you have different technical aspects, difficulties to organize some big events under 100% online. You have many aspects about cheating, about the rules, about the slot time, the difference between the country and between some continents. You have some technical sometimes problems, because you can have some lag between your location and the server of the publisher. So it's not so easy to move 100% online, but it was the case most of the time. So it was a kind of a new area of sorry, a new era of esports, thanks to a necessity to change the habits and to stop the organization of physical offline tournaments. So of course, I hope that it will change in the coming weeks, months, or very quickly, that everybody will be able to attend and some physical events, because the entertainment side of esports is it's very interesting. Because of the crowd, because of the entertainment, about yes, it's a very it's spectacular. So let's see what's happened in the coming months, but I really hope that we will see more and more esports tournaments online, but of course that we will be able to attend to physical events. Let me speak just about what we call the tiers in esports. So of course all the video games are not necessary esports centric. So you have thousands of video games around the world. Of course, all the video games are not focused on esports. So you have something like, if I remember, maybe 200 titles in video games that have an esports side, but of course, not the 200 are competitive and very strong legitimacy in the esports scene. Sorry. So Jane Singers, the founder of the fund, the Bitcraft fund in Germany, and also former key people in ESL, the Electronic Sports League, 4 years ago decided to understand how we can list the different title of video games, and how when we speak in the ecosystem about a title, do we speak about a big title, an intermediate title, small title? So he tried to define what could be the different criteria to separate and to understand what could be the list. So he decided to use three criteria. The first is the monthly active users, so the people playing monthly on a video game. The second criteria is about the global and annual prize pool of the video game spread by the publisher. And the last is about the monthly hours watched on the streaming platform. So he compared different sources on different platforms to try to separate. So he decided to say that for the tier one, the title will necessarily have more than 8 million people playing monthly on the video game, and the annual prize pools need to be superior at $5 million, and the monthly hours watch superior at 20 million. So he decided to define some criteria. And if we see the overview 4 years ago, we had on the tier one League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Dota 2, and Hearthstone. On the tier two, so it's a little bit kind of intermediary titles. You have different games like Smite, Overwatch, Call of Duty, Heroes of the Storm, Halo, StarCraft, etc. And you have and the tier three, Rocket League, Super Smash Bros, Vainglory, FIFA 17, etc. So it's not a vision, a fixed vision we have about what are the tires. So my goal tonight is just to make you understand that when we speak about titles in video games, in esports, we say tier one, oh, this game is a tier two or a tier three or tier one, I don't know. It depends on criteria, it depends on people, and it moves every year, and it depends on the criteria you want to explore. So if we try to make an overview of what are the tires of esports video game in 2020, for example, of course, in tier one, you will not have Hearthstone. You will have, of course, Fortnite, for example. You will have, of course, also Dota 2, Counter-Strike, League of Legends. And if we speak about Rocket League, Rocket League was in the tier three in 2017, but the last year, Rocket League probably moved to tier two. So it's not it's a moving kind of pyramid, but just a way to say that it's an important game, or it's an interesting game, or it's an emerging game with tier three, for example. So this is I'm not sure you will see exactly the board, but it's a new way to imagine the tires we have in the last year. So the dashboard is showing that in tier one you have Dota 2, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Fortnite, and Overwatch. The tier two, you have Call of Duty, PUBG, Rainbow Six, Rocket League, and Hearthstone. And in tier three, StarCraft, Arena of Valor, FIFA, Apex, Stream Fighter, Super Smash Bros, NBA 2K. So it's a new ranking, but it's something that are moving every year. But what is interesting is probably to see the publishers. So you have, of course, Valve with Dota 2 and Counter-Strike. You have, of course, Epic Games with Fortnite and the Rocket League. You have, of course, Activision Blizzard with Overwatch and Call of Duty. You have League of Legends with Riot Games with League of Legends, and probably with Valorant that are increasing very fast. And I'm sure that in the coming months you will probably have also Wild Rift, the new video game of Riot Games, the League of Legends, but for the mobile. So it's something that is moving depending on the criteria we want to explore about the social network, about the hours watch, about the monthly active users or the daily active users. It depends on many topics. But let's say that the tires are here to try to explain what is the potential ranking between different titles in esports scene. So let's speak now about the esports business events. As I said in introduction, the esports scene needs some specific place where people can meet each other. Because if you want to understand what is moving in a specific country or continent, you have to meet the people, you have to speak with them, you have to understand what are the culture, the strategy of the sponsor, the strategy of the government, the strategy of the publishers, and the business events are interesting to boost, to level up the understandings, the knowledges that we could have about the esports development, because the video game industry is something like $175 billion, all the video game industry. Inside the video game market, you have a niche which is the esports, the electronic sports ecosystem, which is something between probably 1 billion, $1.5 billion the last year. So it represents less than 1% of the global video game market. So if we want to develop the esports business side and to democratize esports and to create some educational program, to some esports tournament, and if you want to explain also what are the best practice about the young people, because of the addiction, because of many stakes we have in esports, it's important to understand globally what are moving fast in different areas, and to maybe to try to do better than what is happening in a country, or to stop something because it's interesting to move in another direction. So we have some business events. Of course, you have many webinars, many events, of course, online. You have some physical events that are organized in different countries. For example, the esports bar in France, but also in South Korea, in Miami, or maybe in different places in the world. You have the AZ Digital Summit coming from the media, the esports media called Esports Insiders. Maybe you know about the business. You have Esports Insiders and Esports Observers, that are two websites, two media focus on the esports business development. So they also organize their event offline most of the time in London or in different places, but it was also it happens on online on the streaming with AZ Digital Summit. You have also the Gamescom in Germany. You have the Esports Connect Asia. You have Esports Business Summit, I think in the US. So every continent wants to have its own business events to educate the brands, the sponsors, to attract the traditional sports ecosystem, because you know that sports and esports are converging even more every day, and you have some similar opportunities about training, about maybe the business, about the way the athletes are practicing esports and sports at a very high level. So in this kind of business events, it's a good way to network. It's a good way to attend to some keynotes, to understand what happens in different country, and to have a global vision. So if I really hope that in Africa it will be able one day to have a key event of esports with many countries, many cities, many brands, many universities, and to create something very strong. I know that there are some events, of course, in Africa, but I think it could be interesting to have a big event with business, with education, with matchmaking, and a good way to understand what is happening globally, but and to work on the way to develop the business in your continent, in Africa. So quickly, some events you have classified by continent. So in North America, you have the Six Invitational on Rainbow Six. It's in the city, I guess, in Montreal or Toronto. I can't remember. In Canada, you have the LCS of the League of Legends Championship Series. You have different events like the SL1 in different places. The Call of Duty League, Overwatch League, the Dreamhack, Apex Legends, Capcom. So the Capcom is about the versus fighting. So the versus fighting is a very interesting scene. Maybe you know some video game titles like Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat, Super Smash Bros. And yes, you have different titles in the versus fighting ecosystem. So it's very interesting to follow, because the community is very involved in around the versus fighting games. So yes, in North America for sure you have many events, many championships, to with of course some interesting prize pool. Of course, in LATAM, you also have, so in Latin America, different event, the Liga Movista in Latin America. You have Razer, maybe you know the brand Razer, the accessories, the manufacturer Razer organized in the last year the Razer Invitational. You have the El Chile, you have the WSG Latam. So you have in Brazil. So I would say yes, Brazil is very a country very interested by esports, specifically by the FPS and some video games like Counter Strike, Rainbow Six, PUBG, for example. So you have a strong community of players and some very good teams in Brazil. So you have many events in Brazil and sometimes in other different countries. In Africa, you know that you have also some different events, like of course the Africa Esport Series. Sometimes you have some specific events with the event organizer called the SWC. You have the Africa Esports Championship. So it's growing. So it's a very good news that some events are growing, are organized in different continents like Latam, Africa, where people are very excited about the video games industry, and they want to attract more and more event organizers, broadcasters, sponsors. So I really hope that in this kind of region of the world, it will be able to develop the the offline, sorry, and the online ecosystem of championships, tournament, leagues, and it will be interesting to have worldwide something very competitive, not necessarily between Europe and North America, or North America and Asia, or Asia and Europe, but also to include, of course, Africa, to include LATAM, and to have globally some very competitive side with educational, with business, with tournaments. In Europe, of course, we have offline and online events. In Blast Premier in the UK, you have the ESL Pro League on Counter Strike. You have in Berlin Starley the Major on CS:GO. You have the FIFA World Cup. The make of esports for me, but I think it's something we can discuss. But in Katowice, in Poland, it's probably the biggest show in esports during many days with the best teams around the world, and you have a convention, you have many things. So Katowice is considered like a kind of mecca of the esports events. You have the Dreamhack, of course, a sister company of ESL, and a Swedish company created I guess in 1993 or 96 or something like that, before the 20 year, the 20, yes, the 20. So the Dreamhack is a big event organizer, and you have different Dreamhack event around the world, and the League of Legends European Championship, what is called the LEC, and of course it's very interesting to see the development of some closed league we could have with different publishers, like for example Riot Games. In Asia, finally, you have the Evo Championship Series about the versus fighting. You have the LCK on League of Legends in South Korea. You have PUBG Asia Invitational in Macau. You have most of the time the finals of the tournament from Valve on Dota 2, so the international. So most of the time you have the finals in Asia. We can see the emergence, the growth of some esports mobile titles like Arena of Valor, like Free Fire, specifically in India and in Southeast Asia. So Arena of Valor and Free Fire, but you also have Honor of King and different other titles played on smartphone. So you have strong and very interesting events, competition on specific mobile video games. And you have, of course, some IEM, Intel Extreme Masters from ESL. So this is an overview of what are the different key events. Of course, it's not exhaustive overview because you have many events, and some championships, some tournaments are moving sometimes some country to another country. But this is mainly what you could say about the different esports events that are organized in different regions of the world. Just to finish, I'd like to speak about the cash prize. You have a very interesting website called esportsearnings.com. So I'd like to explain what are the main games, video games about the cash prize side. So about the all times cash prize spread by publishers. The first one is Dota 2 with 229 millions of dollars spread during some around 1,500 tournaments. So for the all times competition with Dota 2, you have more than 200 million dollars that have been earned by different teams around the world. Then in second place, you have Counter-Strike with the video game, also CS:GO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, with $100 million about the cash prize earned by the team. It's quite the same amount for Fortnite with close to $100 million. But in very less tournament, few tournament. Compared to Counter-Strike, you have League of Legends with $82 million, and then StarCraft 2 with $34 million. So this is the best titles about the ranking by video game, and of course all time. It's not focused on the last year or the 5 past year. It's a all time ranking. So if you compare to some competition in traditional sports, like in tennis, like in soccer, like in basketball, in handball, or I don't know, we see that the figures are very interesting about the development, and it's very significant. It's not, we are not speaking about thousands of dollars, just few millions of dollars. We speak about dozen or hundred millions of dollars spent by the publishers to organize their events. So this is a ranking by players. So the same thing about the ranking. It's an all-time ranking. So the guy who earned the most money in the world was on Dota 2. So if you see the 15 best players, best paid players in the world, you have 14 playing on Dota 2, and just one Booga on Fortnite, and because he earned the Fortnite World Cup with more than $3 million as a cash prize. So this is the ranking, the all-time ranking of the players. Johan Sunsen on Dota 2 with close to $7 million. So it's just the emerging side of the iceberg, you know. Of course, you have some ranking about the people earning a lot of money, but as we said about the ecosystem, esports, professional esports side is just a small, very niche part of the video game industry, and the professional esports side of esports, it's a very small side of the global esports industry, because you have the grassroots industry that is very interesting to understand, to develop, to boost, because you have probably I would say 99% of people in esports that are not pro gamers. They play because they love to play, to practice, and to go to LAN parties. They love to be kind of semi-professional and to have sometimes some money, but you have a very, very, very small part of the global gamers that are pro gamers and that have been paid to earn some salaries and to earn sometimes some cash price. So it's just the peak of the iceberg. It's not the reality, and not necessarily something interesting to imagine that everybody one day will earn a lot of money because, thanks to the video games industry. But it's interesting to see that something is moving with the publishers, with the event organizers, and of course the online and the streaming platform, to boost the visibility, to boost the brand awareness of some esports title and the emergence of new title. In my opinion, it's very important to structure and to support all the countries, all the people interested by developing esports from the grassroots, and then to why not move to some business part of the esports, and not only focus to be just focus on esports business and pro teams in a specific country. Because if you want to have some professional gamers, one day you need to start from the ground. So you need to develop the grassroots ecosystem, and to move step by step, to organize more and more events, to develop the audience, to develop the sponsor, to organize online and offline events, to stream, to attract cities, and then to move year after years. So this is to finish the presentation. The ranking by team all the time. So it's a ranking used in many media about what is the best esports team in the world, what is the most attractive teams about investors, etc. So Team Liquid is the first one with $36 million earned during close to 2,000 tournaments from the beginning, from the creation of the team. Then you have OJ, very focused and 2 times world champion on Dota 2. So they earn a lot of money because, as we said, the event called the International is the event with the most important cash prize for the teams. Then you have Heavy Genius, Fnatic, Virtus, etc., etc. So of course, you have many teams from the US, from Asia, also from Europe, but most of the time they are coming, I think, from North America and specifically from the US. So this is the amount that have been earned by the 20 best, not necessarily the 20 best, but the 20 more lucrative team from the esports ecosystem. So coming from Team Envy to Team Liquid, so from close to $7 million to $36 million in many tournaments. So of course, you have some events, you have some professional teams. The cash prize attract the teams, attract also the people, because if you have the best team on an event, you have many people that will be able to attend in a specific place or to follow, to watch the tournament online. So it's a kind of mechanism between the role of the publishers with the organization of events, with some events organizers or in standalone, with the cash prize, the prize pool that could be spread to the teams, of course, the professional teams, the sponsors, the audience. So this is mainly how is a structure esports and what are the place of the events. Finally, the top 10 esports video game with the last year with classified by the prize pool. So Dota 2 was the biggest video game about the prize pool with $35 million. Then Counter-Strike with 20 million, League of Legends, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and to achieve you add Rocket League. So maybe the next year we will have another ranking because you have some titles that are growing fast, like Rocket League, I think NBA 2K a little bit, Overwatch. I'm not sure that it will stay so long time, but you have some mobile game like Free Fire, some with also Wild Rift, that probably will enter the top 10 esports about the prize pool. So it depends, of course, of the strategy of the publisher to inject some money on about the prize pool and to attract the best team. But if you want to have the best team, most of the time you need to have an interesting cash prize. So thanks for your attention. I hope that this quick overview of what is structuring the esports events and the esports tournament is something interesting for you. I'm sure that if you have some interest, please you can jump into your question in the chat. So let me know if you have some question in the chat, and then I will jump into another webinar for the next time. So most of these games, like all is different esports company organized. The Capcom another company as Capcom company. Daniel sent. I'm not sure to have the answer of your question about Capcom. And Call of Duty, yes, it's organized by the publisher, but you have also most of the time some providers helping. For example, the finals of League of Legends was organized by the publishers himself, but you have also in local, if it's of course an offline event, you have some local support from some esports event organizers or some association, non-governmental association. So it's I'm not sure that 100% of some events are organized by the publishers. You have many providers about the stages, about the lights, about many things. So they manage the project, they organize the event, but they work with some different teams, sometimes coming from different countries to organize the big event. Rainbow Six Siege is in tier 1 as of 2020. Yes. Okay, so I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I see you maybe very soon.